All right, welcome back. It's World Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and today we are shining light on the unsung heroes, family caregivers. We're joined by Drazen Ruben, certified elder law attorney at Drazen Ruben Law, to tell us about this often overlooked group.
Absolutely. Caregivers are one of the biggest part of our population, whether it's a family caregiver, even professionals, nurses who spend all their time with these people, and they're providing such a great service and they don't get the recognition they deserve.
Yeah, we were just talking on the commercial break. There's such a strain in a relationship because
Absolutely.
As you were saying, you go from being a family member, maybe having, a fun relationship, doing things socially, to then having to take care of their needs.
I've been a caregiver twice. I'm now a caregiver for my dad. There's days I'm his son, and there's days I'm his boss, as he likes to call it. But I'm his caregiver, so I have to make sure that he's getting everything that he needs or he's getting to his appointments. So being a caregiver, you have a lot of dual roles, and you have to sometimes shift in between them and remember what your job is. And sometimes you also have to learn not to be offended by the things that are said to you when you're being the caregiver.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys have an entire event dedicated to caregivers and showing them support. Tell me about that.
So in November, every year for Caregivers Month, we do our symposium. And this year, it's on November 8th. And we have speakers coming from around the state to talk about different plans for caregivers, for how they can receive care, support services that are available, how to get the right documents in place legally. I am a lawyer after all, so I have to talk about those things. But also just the technology and changes that are coming to help people. Because one of the big things we see with caregivers is that when you become a caregiver for somebody else, you stop taking care of yourself. It is really easy to do that because you put everyone else's needs before your own. And what happens is your own health takes a burden. If you're a family caregiver, you have a significant risk of loss of promotion and jobs and financial implications. So being a caregiver has this huge burden on everybody around us. So trying to come up with a plan to lessen that burden. And we also have to remember, from an employer standpoint, employers are losing money because their employees can't show up to work.
Absolutely.
People call out sick or they're taking care of someone.
It's a tough situation, too.
I own my own business. I've had to take a day off to take him to an appointment.
Right.
That has an impact. So the more planning we can do to avoid that for everybody is huge.
Yeah, and in the past, how do people react when you tell them about these resources?
A lot of people are resistant to using resources, and a lot of people don't even realize there are resources. It's a very big mix, and I understand that, right? I've been a caregiver so many times now. I'm very much on the, I'll just handle it myself. Right. I learned the first time that was a mistake. You need to ask for help. It's okay to accept help from friends and family and others and utilize these resources so you don't burn yourself out, because then you're not a good caregiver for anyone if you are.
Right, and people might not even realize when they become a caregiver. They mightn't even know that's what they're classified as, especially if it's a spouse. And we know there's a lot of people over the age of 65 that take on this responsibility.
Somewhere around 30% of all caregivers are over the age of 65. And they're taking care of, sometimes it's a child with special needs or disabilities. Sometimes it is their spouse. And the relationship changes. I've had these cases a lot where they come into our office and they're just bickering because they're not married anymore. They're now caregiver and nurse. And what we've had to do is kind of shift them into their role back to being spouses again by trying to get some company and get some things into the home so that they aren't as tense and fighting so much anymore.
Absolutely. And where can people go to learn more about this event and everything you guys offer?
So DrazenRubenSymposium.com is a great resource for the event itself. DrazenRuben.com has resources for everything else.
All right, wonderful. And we will, of course, also have that information on our website, WTNH.com. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, keep it right here. We'll be back after a short break.